It really is that sinking feeling once again. Just when you thought that the COVID pandemic was behind us, restrictions being brought back and COVID spreading through China like wildfire, the concern that new variants could emerge from China which could potentially be dangerous and troubling for countries around the world. To get a sense of what's happening in China and what this means for you and me, we're joined on the broadcast at this time by Dr. Li Mengyang, PhD virologist, currently in the United States, but looking very carefully at everything that's happening in China. We've got Dr. Stanley Mark Perlman, microbiologist, coronavirus researcher. He's a professor of immunology. Dr. Shamika Ravi joins us. She looked very carefully at the health crisis in India, also from an economic perspective, not just public health. We've got Dr. Giridhar Babu, professor and head in the Public Health Foundation of India. And for a geopolitical perspective on what's going on, remember, the myth of Chinese exceptionalism is what has been busted in the manner in which the COVID pandemic is spreading through China. We've got Dr. Bharat Karnad, leading national securities expert, joining us on this broadcast. I want to go across to Dr. Li Mengyang first, because China, as far as the information of news is concerned, is a black hole. What we're seeing is images on social media of ICUs flooded, patients stacked in hospitals across different cities. Now, this happened in Italy, it happened in the United States, happened in London, several countries, including in India. Now it's happening in China. Can you just try and give us your best sense from everything that you're picking up through your research, a broad picture of what the current COVID situation in China is like? Because as far as their official data is concerned, the number of cases actually coming down and deaths are only 5.
Oh, thank you. So first, what happened in China, all across China, in multiple areas now is really a disaster. And since Chinese Communist Party claimed that they lift the zero COVID policy, suddenly all the cases come out almost at the same time, and it increasing like crazy. The death toll is also increasing. And however, this is not about the zero COVID policy at all, because zero COVID policy was never for protect the human or public health. It was a pure political control from Chinese Communist Party to the people. So now the sudden coming of the outbreak is very suspicious. I say that because based on all the observation and also information I collected from China, what happened in China now had a lot of in common with what happened in Wuhan at the early 2020. And for example, let's say why this outbreak come out immediately at the same time. This doesn't match the principle in the epidemiology. And also the symptoms of these Omicron infections are more severe than what happened in the other countries. There are high fever, pain, pneumonia, and also even death. And so these symptoms usually don't happen during Omicron variant. And also, what happened in China is CCP still controls the information as well as the medical resources. Not only because lack of drugs and manpowers in the hospital, the government also controls the drug supply and don't give it to people. So people are struggling because they even don't have the basic drug to anti-fever. So the things is really messed up, but you see Xi Jinping, he is very satisfied with the situation. If you check the statement from the central government, they still praise their policies from COVID, zero COVID to current policy.